Hi guys, Sean here from digiDirect. Today we're going to be taking a look at the brand new Sony a6600. Now this camera, along with the 6100, which was announced at the same time, is the newest in Sony's APS-C mirrorless lineup. And in fact, the 6600 is now going to be sitting at the top of that lineup. We'll discuss all the reasons why. In a nutshell, it comes from taking all the best parts from the various other cameras in that lineup, putting it into this camera, and then adding a few things of its own as well. Let's start though by taking a look at the body of the 6600. So physical and ergonomic changes are actually some of the major updates that we see in the a6600. This may seem surprising because with a quick glance it looks about the same as the other a6000 series cameras. However, when you hold it, the first thing that you're going to notice is that the build quality is much higher. It's an extremely sturdy, weather-sealed design. It's much more solid than some of the other models in this lineup. While it's still a small camera, it manages to provide a real aura of quality. Part of that comes from the larger grip. This is the largest grip that we've yet seen on one of these models, and it feels great. It's very comfortable to hold, and it can easily accommodate larger hands and balancing larger lenses. Even better though is the reason for the grip size increase. This camera houses the newer and larger FZ100 series battery. This is the battery that was recently introduced in some of the newer A7 models. This is the first of the crop sensor cameras to have this larger battery, and it is way better than the older FW50. The battery life on this camera is rated for about 720 shots, which is about double that of most of the other A6000 lineup cameras. I used the camera for quite some time here, and I barely put a dent into the battery life, so I was very impressed. That's a really nice quality of life upgrade. Another first for the A6000 lineup is that the 6600 adds a 3.5mm headphone jack, in addition to a mic jack. Now the mic jack is also found on the 64 and 6500, but the headphone jack on this one is a first, and it finally allows videographers to monitor their audio levels while shooting, which just provides an extra level of professionalism that video shooters will definitely appreciate. Beyond these points, we've got the same range of buttons and dials across the body that we're used to seeing. We've got a high quality viewfinder, and we have a tilting touchscreen that can flip all the way up and around for selfies. That's a new feature that was introduced on the 6400 and has been carried over here to the 6600. Sensor-wise, not too much has changed. This still has a 24 megapixel sensor inside of it. You're really not going to see any picture quality differences between this camera and the 64 or 6500, which is to say the picture quality is quite high. It's certainly a very well-performing camera from that regard. But if you're looking at this camera compared to the 64 or 6500, picture quality is not going to be the deciding factor. Now this wouldn't be an a6000 series camera without fantastic autofocus, and the a6600 certainly does not disappoint here. It features all of the AF improvements that were debuted on the 6400 recently, 425 AF points, real-time tracking, an AF acquisition speed of 0.02 seconds, and eye autofocus that works both on both eyes as well as on animals. Although in a new feature on the 6600, that eye AF also now works in video shooting. Real-time tracking performance remains stellar on this camera. It's a beast at shooting moving subjects, and it really excels in a sports environment. It also has a 10 frames per second burst shooting speed in order to capitalize on that. So one thing I really like on the a6600 is that it inherits the built-in 5-axis image stabilization from the a6500. So when the a6400 came out recently, it actually improved on many of the specs of the higher level a6500, except it didn't have that image stabilization. The 6600, on the other hand, inherits basically all of those spec improvements from the 6400, plus the image stabilization from the 6500. This makes it very, very good for shooting in low light conditions or for shooting with longer lenses or when shooting handheld video. Speaking of video, nothing too radical here. The camera can shoot 4K video at up to 30 frames per second, including in Sony's HDR picture profile, and it also features Sony's slow and quick shooting modes as well. Like the other cameras in this lineup, the video quality is very high, and the autofocus tracking performance in video is very good as well. In this particular model, the main video benefits come from the addition of that headphone jack so you can monitor your audio now, plus the addition of the eye autofocus working in video, and the fact that it inherits the flip-up selfie screen from the 6400 just gives it more flexibility for vloggers or video shooters in general. So overall, the a6600 doesn't really introduce too many groundbreaking spec improvements in and of itself. However, it does pull the best specs of the lineup from the 6400, the in-body image stabilization from the 6500, and then puts it together with a better build quality, a larger grip, a much improved battery life, and a couple other small improvements like IAF working in video as well. If you're looking for a small camera that has a very robust feature set, the 6600 basically takes the best of everything across the whole a6000 lineup and puts it into one camera. Now, the camera will be out soon. You can place a pre-order right now on our website at www.digidirect.com.au, or you can do so in store as well. Now, once the camera has come out, feel free to visit us in store and you can test the camera out for yourself. We have stores in the Sydney CBD, Bondi Junction, Miranda, the Brisbane and Melbourne CBD, and Cannington, Western Australia, which is just outside of the Perth CBD. Thanks, guys. Take care.